Thank you, Wendy. And hi, everybody. Welcome to the fireside chat we're going to have with Victoria Van Camp, CTO and President of Innovation and Business Development at SKF from Sweden. Victoria is managing over 1,500 people in the R&D side of the business. And SKF is a leading bearing company in the world. And we'll be happy to talk to her about their journey in Industry 4, in digital transformation, and even the acquisition they've made in Israel and what impact that have made. So let's dive into it. Hello, Victoria, and thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. And I really wish I could have been in Israel right now. We met last time in person in February when you had the big conference, and it was such an experience. So I hope we can get back to that.
Definitely. We look forward to that and to many more visits on both sides so we can get the cooperation and innovation to be engaged with many more people on your side and our side. I think that we have such a great story, and we talked about it preparing for this session. But last time we met was just before we all understood COVID-19 is a real showstopper. And what I wanted to know really is how have the last 9 months changed your vision and strategy at SKF?
Yeah, it is. I think it is very strange to say this, but COVID might have been the best lesson that a big global company like SKF could have. And what is that lesson? Well, we realized we have colleagues in China that were first hit from the pandemic. And we in Europe, we realized quite quickly that this will not stay over in China. So already very early in March, just after coming back from Israel, actually, we started preparing ourselves for an unknown future. And I think that has been this biggest learning, that yes, we had strategies and we had long-term plans like big corporations tend to do. But we had to revise them. And we also had to admit to ourselves, to our colleagues, to the stakeholders, the owners, that we don't have the truth when it comes to the future. How would we, when nobody, not the big epidemiologists or presidents or whatnot, could tell us where the world was going? Nobody knew. And that to us became a signal, and I'm so happy we took this signal to stop trying to think and plan for a future that we don't know, but instead compress it. And we took the good things we had in our strategy and we said, what will stay afterwards? And then we made sure that those would happen, the key things, on a 9-month, 12-month horizon. But we just said the 5-year, we keep going in the vision where the company is going, but detailed planning on that longer horizon, no. And why this is such a great learning for the future? Because that's how the world is. It's a chimera that we know the future. We never do. There is a new technology. There is a new competitor. People suddenly leave. Your customers go somewhere else. There is a tweet from some world leader that changes the dynamics of trade. We don't know these things. So let's start planning for a future where things move, and let's be agile. That, I think, for a big global company was the best we could learn.
It's excellent insights, and quite amazing for a large corporation that is used to planning ahead and to trying to foresee everything and be right, just to understand that there is a different way to look at things. And like you said as it is, the pandemic has made us all look differently on the way we manage and in the way we work with our people to get where we want. So I think that you told me that SKF had a strategic shift from just doing bearings to doing an AI-based offering, something that is way wider and more strategic. And as part of its strategy, SKF has also acquired only a year ago a predictive maintenance company and transformed it into its AI R&D center outside of Sweden, which is huge, I think. And so my question would be, how do you intertwine AI and bearings, and what led to this strategic shift?
It was really an insight we had, and I say we, it was the leadership of SKF, so the top leadership. We came to this insight that it sounds really strange saying it again, but our customers don't want to buy bearings. They really would like to avoid that, because if they have to buy a spare part like a bearing, it means that something has broke or worn out or become old. And if they could avoid buying that bearing and instead keep their machines running, that would be much better. That's actually what the customer wants. And who is the customer? Think of a paper mill, for example, or a chemical plant. Lots and lots of bearings, hundreds, thousands of bearings spinning inside motors or whatever in there. Those customers don't want to buy our products. And when we came to that insight, we realized that we need to shift. Because if we don't, somebody else will. When your customers really don't want to buy your stuff, you better change, so you provide them with what they do want. And what is it? They want uptime. They want reliability. And to get to that point, we need predictive maintenance. And to do it right, we will need artificial intelligence. Otherwise, it would never be scalable. We would have to hire, we have 40,000 employees. We probably would have to be 400,000 employees. And then it's not really a viable business model. So this is how we didn't start with the AI, we need digital. We started from what does the customer want, how do we need to shift our model of working, and then what technology do we need in order to deliver that. And that's how we came to using AI to provide customers with reliable rotation. And sure, will we sell bearings in boxes like we used to? Yes. We are open for business on that too, but we can see that customers are interested to shift to where we are going as well.
Wow, it's an amazing example, really. For instead of focusing on products, you focus on value, and that leads you all the way to understanding what you really need to acquire or to change or to focus on. Amazing. And now, if we're moving to the hot topic of people and culture versus technology. We talked earlier about the culture shift and COVID. And so how was the integration of the Israeli entrepreneurial team? How has that affected the SKF team?
It's so cool. It's almost like SKF became integrated in Presenso. I know my colleagues in Joachim will laugh at that, but it is really true that, yes, we realized that we would acquire a good group of people. But what we did not realize was that we would acquire the type of leadership that SKF needed and that we were trying to cultivate, but we couldn't really get to. And this is, so yes, we have created our Global Center of Excellence for AI is now in Israel, but also leadership is radiating out of Israel. It is, maybe the word contagious is not the best one to use right now, but it is a little bit, we are using leaders from Israel to lead teams that are even outside AI, actually. And this is why I say that we almost became integrated into Presenso. We really think that the type of leadership that we met in Haifa was what we needed and what the company needs.
Every time I talk to you, I think of a commercial about Israeli entrepreneurship, and that's, we just need to record you over and over again.
And I always tell the truth.
Yes, I know. So it's great, actually. So if we do we cut a clip from it, that's great. I'll send you the royalties. But maybe just to round off and really try to get the value, and the entrepreneurs on our end will appreciate the value that you can and advice you can lend them, is really when you look at the technologies and look at the solutions that are needed for industrial corporations like SKF, where would you point them in terms of looking for the problems they need to solve?
I think it is super important to put yourself in your intended customers or your intended target group's shoes. What is it that they're struggling with? Why is Industry 4.0 not already reality? Because I think we all say that, wow, this is, of course, we want sensors to speak to machines to form the product and influence everything we do. Why is this not already happening? Why don't we already have a full working model? Well, because there are, let's call them boring bits and pieces that are missing to this puzzle. They are things like product data management, for example. So where we keep all our drawings. For you see this big bearing in the background. There are digital twins for that. But unfortunately, bits and pieces of that is still on, maybe not on paper, but it's still in formats that cannot be easily digested and put into a digital twin. And that is, so the company or the startup that comes up with an easy connection between legacy product data systems and new artificial or AR or VR systems, that will be a winner. And these are perhaps you need to work in the business to find these. But I would say look for the boring ones, the ones the sort of the missing grease in the machinery, and then you'll be really rapidly successful.
Wow. Well, you say the opportunities are in the boring stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Because nobody wants to go there.
Exactly. Great. Listen, Victoria, it's been a pleasure talking to you again, and I look forward for the next meeting. And so I want to thank you a lot for joining us and for contributing the values you have. And we look forward to having you online in our platform, meeting many more new startups than you have last time. And now you can bring all your team as well, so they can all enjoy and meet. Really, we're trying to this time go one level below and get to all the middle management in operations that can really meet innovation, Industry 4 innovation, and experience and talk and be and gain value from that. And with that, I say thank you, and over to you, Wendy.
Thank you. We
are done. Okay. Wow, it was amazing as usual.